That's gonna be sick.
Ooh, bro, almost, dude. I mean, literally, bro, I woke up at 4:45 this morning,
Jeez.
drove to Lake Denton, which is like an hour and 45 minutes away.
Oh, so you went
Right?
freshwater lake? Okay.
Yeah, with freshwater today. And then tomorrow I'm going to a place called Blue Grotto. I think it's what
Okay.
it's called. Well, bro, next thing you know, bro, we'll be down there swimming, bro, video recording everything.
Taking hacks, 100
Oh,
feet
yeah,
down.
bro. Underwater hacks, bro, Kirby Puckett style. That's
Well,
good, man.
guess what? We are live on the Prospect Dugout Network for this modified edition of Kicking It with your boy Swish. We had a week off
Yep.
because we had the Swish
For
baseball.
good reason. For good reason.
Yes, sir. Swish baseball experience was a blast.
Awesome, dude.
Great time, interaction, gameplay, or wiffle ball gameplay. Some great food from the Fresh Kitchen down here in Sarasota. Oh, so good. It was a great time, man. Great speech by your pops, Papa Swish. I mean, it was just overall, a great time for those 26, 27 kids that were there involved. And we really got to see some good data from Pocket Radar, Blast Motion, Rapsodo, and Pitch Logic.
Can't forget Pitch Logic, bro. Come on now.
Yeah, man. So, well, on today's episode of Kicking It with your boy Swish, we got a couple callers, different range of guys. So I think we're going to be, really pleased with what we got today. But before we get started, I just want to remind everybody that's watching on Facebook and YouTube, please go ahead and hit that like button, hit that share button, and then drop in the comments and ask us some questions. Let's interact back and forth and have a great day. Also, head over to the App Store and download the Prospect Dugout app. I'm sure you will love it. So, Nick, why don't you give me like a 1-minute recap of Swish baseball experience as our first caller?
I mean, bro, how amazing was that? I mean, Craig came in for it, bro. Me, you, and Craig all together, bro. That was amazing. Not only to be able to have the kids and to gain the data, to not only for us developing what we're trying to develop with Prospect Dugout, but also, too, I think just being able to be around the kids. I thought it was the coolest part of the day was getting the data, and then all of a sudden, Gary Sheffield starts coaching, right? And then Tino Martinez starts coaching, right? And then, like, all of a sudden, you just get these great banter with all of these. I mean, dude, Chef played in the show for 22 years.
Unreal.
I also think gaining all that data was amazing. But the Q&A over lunch, I thought was amazing, right? Tino came up and spoke for 20 minutes. Ryan Rayburn spoke, right? Vic Black spoke, right? Steve Shenbaum, my pop spoke. Yep. So I think, at least for myself, if I was a 16 or 17-year-old kid, I would have been breaking down doors trying to get into that Q&A session, because I think the things that we talked about, Craig, you as well, I think the things that we talked about were things that, kids at an early age, they might not quite understand yet. They might not exactly know what they're getting themselves into and what exactly college ball is going to be like, or even at the professional level. So to be able to have a handful of guys, Denard Span was there. He was amazing. Prayers out to Xavier Scruggs, bro. We got to get that Keeley's better, bro. We got to get you back on your feet. But I think just in general, to be able to have over 100 years of Major League Baseball experience in that Q&A, on top of Steve Shenbaum just absolutely blowing the roof off the place to start the day off. I think if it wasn't for him, I don't think everyone would have felt as comfortable as they were. So lots of love to Steve, man. I can't wait to do it again. He says he's going to be part of it again. I cannot wait. So I think whatever we do for the next one, bro, it's going to be bigger. It's going to be better, because I think for us, that was kind of like that walkthrough to try and figure out exactly what was best for us. But at the end of the day, man, like, Joel, Craig, I mean, you guys agree with me when we say this. It's all about helping, man.
Yeah.
It's all about standing out, stepping up, being a leader, trying to help anybody that needs help right now, because not only in sports, but in life in general, we just need to be better at being human beings. And I think that's exactly what the Swish baseball experience was all about, was being able to not only get out there and grind and play baseball, but being a good human being, preaching the right things, right? Opening doors for people, pulling chairs out, you know what I'm saying? Like just all that stuff that you don't ever really think of. But I think the one thing that we can do with Prospect Dugout and with the new edition of Swish baseball is to really preach the right things, right? Really try and get across that baseball's fun. That's why we played that wiffle ball game. I mean, come on, bro. Like, that was a blast. It was so much fun. I never thought I would see 25 high school kids having as much fun as they did playing the game of wiffle ball, bro.
That's it. That's it.
Sure.
Like I said, man, baseball is nothing but a glorified game of wiffle ball, and that's exactly what we did, man. So
Absolutely.
for myself, it was such an honor to be able to be there. Joel, Craig, down at Inspiration Academy. Shout out to Mario, bro. He was amazing. Yeah. Everything we did. Jamie with security, right? Hey, Mama Hartman with the check-in, you know what I'm saying?
Buddy.
Like, if it wasn't for her, bro, like it would have been a little discombobulated. But to be able to have as many people as we did in such a family type atmosphere, it was intimate. It was amazing to be able to see, even though we had our masks on all day and we were so hard to breathe. It was 800 degrees out. But, we did it right. We did the right thing. And I think that come up on the next one, we're only going to learn from everything we've done before. On top of driveway drills we got coming out here soon.
Oh man, so much stuff going on.
Which is going to be amazing, dude. Like Prospect Dugouts for real, baby.
For real.
Doing it, bro. Monday night shows are hot with Craig. You know
buddy.
Saying, bro?
You said it. You said it.
Yeah. So I mean, just in general, man, it was just so much fun. And I think ever since the 28th last Tuesday, my heart has just been so full. Just because at the end of the day, bro, we're doing something great and we're giving back and we're doing everything we can to try and help the amateur, the youth side of our game get to that next level. Because there had to have been something that somebody said during the entire day or during the entire experience that helped somebody. Yeah. And at the end of the day, if you help one person, man, you're doing your job. So I can talk about this for hours, man. I need to get to it. I need to get Xavier down here.
That's it. Speaking of helping somebody,
I'm chatty catty, man. I can't help it, man.
Let's welcome our first guest, Xavier Perez. And Xavier, before you get to some of your questions, why don't you kind of give us a 20-second intro on who you are and where you play?
Okay. I'm Xavier Perez. I'm from Corpus Christi, Texas. It's pretty down south. I just previously committed to University of Florida.
Oh, let's go, bro. Let's go.
Yeah. For pitching, and we're probably going to try hitting out, for the first year or two, see how it works. And I play with the Banditos. That's about it.
Nice, man. Well, congratulations, bro. UF, dude. My wife went there.
Yeah.
My father-in-law, my mother-in-law, my brother-in-law, bro. Hey, they're all Gators down here, bro. Congratulations, my man.
I appreciate it, man.
What a step in the right direction, bro. I spent a little time in Corpus Christi, bro. Playing a little minor league baseball down there in Corpus Christi, bro.
With the hooks?
Yeah, bro. Okay. I've been down there. I've been down in your neck of the woods, bro. Well, that's amazing, my man. Thank you so much for calling in today, bro. What kind of questions you got for us?
So, I guess going from college to the MLB, what really, helped you to prepare you for all of that?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that's bro, if I could just hand you a plate, I'd be like, hey, bro, here it is. Here's the template for actually how to go about doing it. But I think it's such an individual journey. And I think that's the greatest part about playing baseball, man, is it's a journey. And I think you learn so much about yourself on the field that helps you for later in life. Listen, like I'm going through it right now. Craig, he's still coaching, so he's still locked in there. But at the end of the day, bro, that jersey is going to be taken off at some point. And all of those times that you went through, whether they were good or they bad, you're always going to go back to those. So I think for myself, don't think so far ahead, right? Let's go to the next step, right? Let's just go to our freshman year in college, and then we can roll from there, right? And then we go to our sophomore year, bro. And then we go to our junior year, and then it's draft time. And then from there, bro, then we get into the professional game. Because the college game and the professional game are completely different. You've seen exactly what's been going on with Major League Baseball and just how much of a business it really is. I think sometimes people need to understand that it really is a business. It's as much as I like to say baseball is fun, sometimes you have to look at the business model of exactly how things go down. So I think for myself, the one thing that I would challenge you to do is to not look so far ahead, right? Stay in the present. Enjoy the time that you have right now. Because right now, bro, you growing into your own body. Right? You're turning into a man. Like everything is starting to kind of work right now. So I think for you, don't look so far down there at the big leagues. Let's just worry about what we have to take care of now. Because if we can handle all that right at this moment in time, then everything from the major leagues and up, all that stuff will take care of itself. I think the one thing that we do, and Joel and Craig, you guys can jump in, but we've talked to a lot of kids that think about playing in the big leagues, and that's the questions they have. But we got a lot of work to do before we can get to that level. right? You've got the skills. There's no doubt about it, bro. That's why you're going to UF. Now it's time to sharpen those skills and hone those skills and make those as awesome as they can. Because listen, bro, at some point, you're going to run into a little bit of difficulty. And that is the time when athletes either go this way or they go this way. You feel me?
Yep.
So I think with where you are right now, bro, with the Banditos, like, you're killing it. You're not running into any problems, bro. Like, you're shoving, you know what I mean? Like, you hitting homers, bro. You know what I'm saying? Doing your thing. But at some point, whatever level that is for you, by the way, bro, I hope you end up being like Garrett Cole. I hope you never stop. You know what I'm saying, right? Because, you know, but I always think, too, that I kind of want you to go through little struggles, too, because I think that's when you learn the most about yourself.
Oh, for
It's
sure.
not the easiest thing in the world to be a Major League Baseball player. There's a lot of responsibility that comes with it, and there's a lot of time and effort and passion that goes into something like that. So for you, bro, don't look so far down the road. Stay here. Enjoy your time, right? Finish up high school. Do your thing. And then we'll go to college, bro. Because I can promise you, bro, college is way different than high school, bro. Just in general, bro. You're going to be on your own for the first time. Mom and dad aren't going to be there. Grandma and grandpa to wash your clothes, bro. You're going to have to be doing that stuff on your own. So I just think there's a lot of growing that needs to take place with that. So calm down, chill out, enjoy where you're at right now, work on your skills, because I can promise you, bro, the skills that you're working on now. How old are you now, X?
17.
17, cuz? Bro, when you get to be 20, 21, it's going to be a whole different ball game, my man. I can promise you that. So enjoy the time that you have right now, because, bro, you can never go back to these times. Enjoy them while you can. Leave your legacy on your high school, then leave your legacy at Florida, and then go from there. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. For sure. And Nick hits it right on the head when he talks about, you know, we don't like to talk about it, but baseball is a business. So really enjoy these moments, because these are the moments that, like, you do just get to go out and play, and it's not your livelihood on the line. So when you do get to those moments where you become a professional baseball player, and we all hope you never struggle and never have to worry about it, but the reality is, bro,
just a little, bro.
But the reality is,
them Texas boys are tough, bro. Them Texas boys are tough, though.
We're all gonna meet our roadblocks, but if you don't embrace the time that you're in now and soak it in, man, you're about to go to UF, like, amazing place, right? Like, enjoy those times, because you don't want to look back on those times when hopefully you're in professional baseball and you're like, man, I really didn't take advantage of my time there.
Yeah. Or prepare yourself enough to be ready for that next level, because right now is the time you can put that work in.
Yeah, for sure. So I think, you know, Nick hits it right on the head, man. I tell all our guys in the minor leagues too, especially our guys in the minor leagues, because they got that taste. They're like, they're knocking at the door.
It's like right there. You know what I mean?
And they can really taste it. Like, your mindset's already, I want to be in the big leagues, and you're still in high school. You haven't even gone through it. These guys are knocking at the doorstep. Right. So I tell all those guys, like, embrace those times, because what you're gonna learn in those moments of struggle that get you over the hump are really going to help you every level that you go up, because the pressure becomes more. Right now, you're in high school. You go to UF, you're going to be playing in front of 10,000 people. Pressure. You get picked up, you get to a major league team, pressure. Now it's a paycheck. And then you go to the big leagues, and Nick can tell you this, that I don't even know what that pressure's like. But playing in front of 50,000 every single night, that's pressure. And especially in New York, because if you don't play, they're coming after you.
Oh, yeah.
If you don't hit, you sit, bro. You know what I'm saying? But Craig, you're right, man. Like, you're so spot on. Hey, X, enjoy this time you have right now. Hone your skills, sharpen your skills, and make sure you are so prepared for that next level. Because the last thing you want to do is get to UF and then all of a sudden say, man, I really wish I would have worked on that changeup a little more. Because now all of a sudden you go to that D1 collegiate level, you hang that changeup over the middle part of the plate. Spencer Torkelton, bro, I'll take you over the freaking scoreboard. You feel me?
Yeah.
That's just where it is. So right now at the level you're at, you can afford to make mistakes. I know that sounds a little weird, but because of your skill level, you can afford to miss. You can miss locations. You can do stuff like that. The next level you go to, you can't miss as much. And then once you get into pro ball, you can miss even less. And
Yeah.
homie, once you get to the show, hey, brother, you better hit them corners, my man, because if you're missing a big part of the play, bro, Aaron Judge, bro, going to take you off the concourse somewhere for sure, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You got anything else for us?
Yeah. So baseball's a game of ups and downs. So during the struggles, what did you do, and what did you do to help you get through those struggles?
2 words, brother: short memory. Because you can't dwell on it so long. You can't be the type of guy that slams his bat or slams his helmet after a strikeout, because guess what? You're coming up 8 batters later. You know what I mean? So like, you can't go in there. You can't show your emotions on the mound, because as an evaluator like myself, I'm going to be like, bro, what's this guy doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's he doing? Right? Like, I think the biggest thing, and I'm only talking on the pitching side of things, I think the biggest thing that you can have is mound presence. And I think just as where you are, you can work so hard to get yourself to that spot. But listen, tomorrow's coming. That's the greatest thing about baseball. I remember playing high school football. If I had a bad game, which was rare, I had to wait a full week until we played again on Friday night, right? Like in baseball, if I had an 0 for 4, I was chomping at the bit to get to the ballpark the next day, because guess what? I had 4 more bats coming. So you can't dwell on those. Listen, bro, I went 0 for 28 in the big leagues, and that's like a span of like 8 games with no knocks, bro. Just a bunch of strikeouts and just being horrible. So coming from a guy like myself, bro, I pray to God that you never struggle as much as I did. Because at the end of the day, bro, like those difficulties that you get through are sometimes tough. But for me, it was a short memory. Gotta let it go, because you know your skill set. That's why we always talk about know thyself, gotta be you, right? Because you are an individual and you are special. And the way you go about doing stuff is different than everybody else. So come up with your routines. Find what works best for you. Because I promise you, bro, when you get, at least for myself and Craig and Joel, even in life, the better routines that we are on as human beings, the better off we are. The better humans we are, the better athletes we are. At least for me, when I had my best years, bro, I was a machine. I was coming to the ballpark the same day, doing the same stuff. So I think that one thing I would really, really challenge you to do, don't look too far ahead, hone your skills, and enjoy your time. That's the easiest way to go about it, man, because your skills will set you apart from everybody else. Your work ethic will get you to the big leagues.
For sure.
We got
Bro,
time
look at it, bro. He's ready, bro. He's like, I'm ready, bro. I'm ready to go throw a pen right now.
That's it. Hey, we got time for one more question from you, X. What you got?
Okay. Take me through, probably like a day in the MLB, wake up, what y'all do on game days, on, when you're off, all those days.
Oh yeah, man. It's so repetitive. It's almost like Groundhog's Day. The only thing that's different is 7:05, right? And I think that's the biggest thing that I try to tell kids is that even for myself, when I go watch young kids play, like I'm not looking for you to hit 18 home runs during batting practice. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for you to play at 7 o'clock. That's what, at least when I got to the New York Yankees and I got around people like Derek Jeter and Alex Rodriguez and Jorge Posada, at least on the offensive side, these guys taught me how to be a pro. Right? They taught me that batting practice wasn't a show. Batting practice was a tool to get you ready to play at 7:05. Bro, my daughter's 7 years old. She can hit it. She can hit batting practice, bro. You know what I mean? And decently impressive. But I don't know about her at 7:05, So I think for myself, and I'd love for Craig to jump in on this too, because obviously being a hitting coach, he sees exactly how guys go through their routines every day. But for myself, my career really changed for the better when I stopped letting batting practice be a show. And I started using batting practice as being a tool to get myself ready. Yes, you go to your showcases and you need to, if you're on the mound, you need to let it go a few times, let them know you got that velo in there. But at the end of the day, you're honing yourself down to get ready to pitch 9 shutout innings. You're not in there just to impress somebody. I'm there to dominate. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm ready to show up at 7:05. We always talk about your swing almost being like a knife. If you have a dull knife, it's horrible. It doesn't work. Yeah. But if you take that knife each and every day and you sharpen that knife with your drills, with your tools, with all that stuff, then all of a sudden come 7:05, there's no guesswork. I know exactly what I'm doing when I get to that moment. Because I think for me, at least as a rookie, I just thought I could get away with talent. That's not the case, bro. So now, as I'm standing here, almost 40 years old, bro, I can tell you that being able to use the entire day to get yourself ready to play, regardless of whatever time you come to the ballpark, that's the deal, my man. That is where it's at. It's not just showing up at 1 o'clock and throwing a pen and going home, right? Even if you're a relief guy, it's being able to throw that pen and feel it good so you have a good feel of that fastball or that slider or that changeup or whatever your pitch is. That's what you need to get the feeling for. Because all of a sudden, if I'm like, hey, bring in X, right? He's got to face Giancarlo Stanton. Yeah. You better have a feel for that slider. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So use the entire day to get yourself ready and focused to prepare for the game.
Yeah, for sure. And I heard Dante Bichette actually said this, and I thought it was really good. He said that every morning when he woke up, that's when the game started. So throughout his day, he was always thinking about who he was facing, what he was trying to do, visualizing it. We talk with our guys with the Giants and hitting. It's your routine, right? It's your routine to prep you to play the game. So it's the same thing for you. So I would ask you, like, as a pitcher, when you throw your bullpen, you don't just go throw your fastball as hard as you can and not work on your mechanics and not work on location. So we talk to our hitters about the same thing. So when you go into batting practice, just launching balls is doing nothing. That's not going to translate to the game. So when you go throw your bullpen, you don't just go max effort and you don't care where the location is. Like, you're trying to hit spots. You're trying to perfect your craft, repeat your delivery. We need to do the same thing hitting, right. And I'll take a guy, if a guy's struggling, like if I had Nick when he was 0 for 28, you know what? I'm gonna take Nick out. I'm gonna take Nick out on the field, and I'm gonna say, listen, man, I don't want you to think about nothing. I want you to plant some balls in the second deck of Yankee Stadium here and just feel good about yourself, because sometimes we need that too. You know what I mean? Yeah. Sometimes we just need to wash everything and just have a good time and bring it back to that. But for the most part, out of 30 days, you need about 27 where you're working in BP, you're taking your cage work and taking it to the field and then letting that translate into the game. And then I'll take my guys, like if we've been beating them up with drills and stuff, like I'll take them and say, like, let's let it fly today. Let's have a good time and just, be kids, you know what I mean? But at the level that you're at and the level where you're going, the work has to outweigh the chill time, I'm gonna just do it,
Yeah,
sure,
for sure.
Dude, Xavier, man, appreciate you joining us.
Yeah, no doubt, bro. And three good questions, bro. That's amazing, bro.
Good questions. Yeah, man. Keep in touch, man. Love watching your content on Instagram. Hopefully get you posted up there again soon. So man.
Hey, we'll be watching, my man. Congratulations.
All right. Hey, I really appreciate the insight. I really appreciate it, man. It helps a lot.
Anytime you need us, baby, we here, bro.
Thanks, buddy.
Okay. Thank you.
Man.
There it is.
Another UF? Bro,
that's it, man.
UF, bro.
But that's the thing that, like, I was thinking about when you were talking about the experience, like the Swish baseball experience. That's the cool thing about it, is these kids go to tournaments and showcases and they just play. But the kids, like, it's not about playing. Like, you can play every single day for 365, but you can't get the knowledge. The knowledge comes from asking players like yourself, asking players like Tino Martinez and Gary Sheffield, picking their brains. That's where the real knowledge comes in. You can play, but playing is not going to do anything if you don't have a process of why you play and what you do.
Yeah, 100%. It's like, we talk about it all the time, even with our kids. It's like, we ask them all the time, why are we doing this? Why? Right? Like, are you here just to pass the time, or are we here to really work on something? And I think that's one thing that I think kids really need to understand, and at least for myself, on that experience side. That's why we call it an experience, because it's something that you can take away with you, and you can take those skills that you learned or you heard and implement them into your game, right? It's not just showing up and playing. There's a lot of dudes that do all that stuff. But for us, man, to be able to coach these kids, mentor these kids, right? Keep in touch with these kids, right? Bro, I can't even tell you how many dudes from the Swish baseball experience I still talk to on Instagram on a daily, bro.
Yeah.
Just asking me questions that they want to continue to ask. And for a guy like me, bro, that has 13 years of Major League Baseball experience, plus Fox Sports, plus the analyst side, plus the special advisor from the front office side, I have this huge amount of knowledge that I just want to be like, boom, here you go, bro. Learn, you know what I mean? Like, see exactly what can help you. Because like we talked about at the Q&A of the lunch, kids nowadays are going to hear this huge cloud of information above them, and it is their job to pick the pieces that work best for them.
Yeah.
Because everybody thinks they know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And, rightfully so, man. If you're confident about it, then go for it. It's just finding out the best things that work for the individual, man. That's why we always talk about not being able to cookie cut guys.
Right.
Not being able to talk. I mean, bro, so funny, man. All these hitting coaches talk about like being like, Josh Donaldson or Aaron Judge. I'm like, bro, ain't nobody like them dudes, bro. That's why they made $200 million, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's talk about the normal dudes, like the David Ecksteins of the world. You know what I'm saying? Or like the Nick Swishers of the world, because like you have to find that there's a lot of commonalities in a baseball swing. These dudes that do stuff that are a little different, like even a little Bo Bichette. Ain't nobody hit like Bo Bichette, bro. He's just a G like that. You know what I mean?
That's
You
it.
have to find out what works. There are a lot of similarities in the game of baseball. And yes, you can have your own swag and your own style. But at the end of the day, man, if you're not 6'8", or you can't hit the ball off the light tower, then we need to find a way to compete, because that's the best part about baseball, man. It's not a size game. It's not like football. You can be whatever size you want. If your heart is big enough and your mind is strong enough and your work ethic is there, you can get there for sure.
And speaking of a cloud of information, that's why we have this show right here with Kicking It with your boy Swish, so that guys like Jonathan Kuzik can call in.
Let's go.
And ask questions. Jonathan, what's up, man? Before you ask your questions, let us know who you are. Give us about 20 seconds, who you are, where you're from, where you're playing.
All right. So I'm Jonathan Kuzik, but I go by JP Kuzik. I'm from South Jersey. I go to Don Bosco Prep. I'm a catcher and outfielder, and I'm 16 in the class of 2022.
Sick.
I play for Tri-State Arsenal. Yeah.
Oh, sweet. Tri-State. All right.
Yeah, I played for Tri-State.
Were you just in were you in Hoover a couple weeks ago?
No. We were actually in a Diamond Nation tournament this weekend.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
So what you got for us, man?
Tournaments, bro. I'm like, what are these tournaments, bro? You know what I'm saying? I never heard of these things in my life. Bro, I played like American Legion baseball, bro, in high school. That's all I played, bro. You know what I'm saying? Well, that's good, man. Hey, JP, thanks for calling in, homie, for real, man. No doubt, bro. What question you got for us?
No problem. Thank you for having me. So my first question would be, so like once you step in the field, what was your mindset once you got lines?
Oh, so I guess during my playing career, I guess I was a little more confident and cocky than I am as a human being. But that's what worked best for me. We talk about it all the time. You have to find something, JP, that is different than everybody else. Listen, bro, 0.05% of all athletes make it to the professional level. Bro, that's less than 1%. There's only 750 big leaguers in the entire world. This is a global game now. So if your mindset is to go out and have fun and you dominate, then stay there. But if it's not, and you're not putting up the numbers, or you're not giving everything you have, or you need to find something deep within. For myself, I always played for people. I always played for my grandmother, right? Because I knew she was in heaven and she was smiling down on me. And the last thing I wanted to do was to disappoint her. But also too, bro, like I loved it. I love this game, bro. There's no better game in the world than the game of baseball. So for me, the passion that I was just blessed to have was always in there. But also too, when I got on the field, I wanted to kick your you know what. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody wants to go on the field to lose, right? Like no way. So I think for myself, when I crossed that white lines, it was different for me because I had more of like an outgoing personality and I was always smiling and having fun. But if you watch me when I walked to the plate, that was a completely different human being than I was in the field. So I think for somebody like you that is a catcher, number one, bro, just the overall pressure, and Craig can talk about that for sure. The overall pressure put on a catcher is crazy, bro. Like Craig and my dad were talking of the experience, and it was so cool to see kind of like, Craig being a little younger than my dad, but to be able to see the differences, it was amazing because you have to be a field general out there. You got to take care of the pitchers and you got to get your knocks. So there's just a lot of things that go into that. But I think for myself, man, I would say take the mentality that works best for you. JP, I'm not you. When I took that field every day, in my mind, only in my mind, I thought I was the best player on the field. That wasn't the case, but that's what I thought. You don't have to tell people what you're thinking. You just need to go out there and make it happen. So I think for myself, to be able to have the ability to do it for as long as I did, even on the days you don't feel good, fake it till you make it, right? Because confidence is something that is physical. I can see your confidence, or I can see your lack of confidence. And I can promise you, if you come up there half-step in the home plate, bro, not feeling good, and I'm pitching, oh, bro, I'm going to chew you up because I'm ready and you're not. So I think that would be my thing is make sure you're ready for the opportunity and be prepared. Make sure you put all your work in to get yourself ready to dominate at whatever time you play.
Yeah, for sure. And we kind of spoke about it with the last caller in the comment that I heard from Dante Bichette. Like, the game starts, and especially for catchers, right? Because we got so many things going on.
Oh, man.
Like, the game starts.
You got the wristbands, bro. You're checking out the pitches and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, for me, I tried to not think about hitting at all once I got into the game, because you got so much responsibility as a catcher. You got to watch hitters' adjustments. You got to know what your pitcher's feeling that day, what's working for him, the environment, what kind of adjustments the hitters are making, what dudes are coming out of the bullpen, what you're working with. So like hitting for us, unfortunately, is kind of like on the back burner. So I always try to, and that kind of goes into what we talked about with the last caller, like really take advantage of my time that I got to concentrate on hitting. So whether that be getting down to the cage to get some more early work in, really taking my batting practice extremely serious, because once the game started, like, I didn't have the advantage to, stand in the infield or stand in the outfield and kind of like think about my next at bat or think about the adjustments that I could make, because as soon as I rolled over to second base and coming back into the dugout, I got to turn back on. All right, who's coming up in the lineup? Who's next up? Right, exactly. Yeah. So it's definitely tough that a lot of people don't understand, and especially the higher you go up, the more pressure becomes on you.
Yeah. I mean, JP, I think, piggybacking off Craig, I think that's why there are not a whole lot of dual threat catchers anymore. They're either good at one thing or the other. Right? Because, you can either catch and throw, or you can mash, right? I think like a couple guys that just kind of pop off my mind. In my mind, one of the best catchers in the game, JT Realmuto. Bro, he's nasty because he can do both. Yeah. But guess what, bro? He's at the ballpark all day.
All day.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not only reading the scouting reports for pitchers that he has, he's got to read all the scouting reports of pitchers he's getting ready to face. So it's like you're saying, Craig, that was such a great point. Like, whatever time that you have to focus on the offensive end of it, bro, put that time in. Because for you, bro, your main focus is to be able to help that guy 60 feet, 6 inches get through this inning,
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Any more questions for us, JP?
Yeah. So, Nick, who was your when you came to the Yankees? Like, as soon as you came into the Yankees organization?
Who was it? Wait, what did he say? Who was what?
Who was your biggest idol coming into the Yankees organization?
So I've been very fortunate to be. Hold on, give me 1 second. Let me pump my dad up for a hot minute, real quick, bro. So my dad played 10 years in the big leagues, right? So I was so blessed and fortunate to be able to have somebody in my life that was not only my hero, my idol, but also my teacher, right? Also my mentor. Somebody who's been there and done that. My homie, let me tell you this, bro. That first day that I walked into spring training at George Steinbrenner Field here in Tampa, Florida, bro, and saw all these names on the locker room, bro, I almost passed out. I was like, no way I'm in this locker room right now, hanging out with these guys. Like, no way I even deserve to be in the same, like, ballpark as these dudes. And then all of a sudden they start walking in, bro. And I'm like, that was Derek Jeter, bro. my gosh, bro, that's crazy, man. Like, I've seen him on the field, but like, now we're like teammates. So like, maybe we'll be like buddies, or like Mariano Rivera just comes strolling through, bro. Just cool as a cucumber, bro. Andy Pettit comes through. Jorge Posada comes through with these like meat hooks, bro. Like, my hand. I'm just like, whoa, like you gotta remember, bro, like these dudes had like 4 World Series at the time. You know what I'm saying? So I was just like, I was so blessed to just be in that locker room. But at the end of the day, bro, you got to put all that aside because you got to go out and you got to compete. And to be in a place like the New York Yankees, if you don't get it done, JP, I can promise you, brother, there's somebody right behind you that's going to come take your job. So remember that. When you're going up, whatever position you're in, whatever spot you're in, high school, college, professional level, hey, bro, don't be Wally Pipp, dog. Don't be Wally Pipp, dog. Because Lou Gehrig's coming, bro. You know what I'm saying? Don't ever let Lou Gehrig take your position, bro, because listen, he ain't ever coming out of the lineup. I know that. Nope. And that's at least how I took it, because if I wasn't able to get the job done, I knew there was going to be somebody else on my tail. That's why I could come to the ballpark each and every day and work the way that I did, because I didn't want to lose my job. Yes, I love to play, and I love everything comes along with being a Major League Baseball player, but I love to be on the field. And there's a difference between being on the field and being on the bench, bro. I was on the bench late in my career, and it was so different than it was when I was a star. I was a star early in my career. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, you okay?
Oh, I see my shirt, bro? I got a shirt today.
That was a segue into an ad for Prospect Dugout merchandise.
You got me moving. I got my hands moving, bro. I'm knocking my thing, bro.
Dude, studio
setup. You look so good, bro.
I need all the help I can get, homie. For real. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, man.
So JP, just enjoy all this, my man. You know what I'm saying? Like, work hard.
Yeah.
Focus on the things that you're doing. Don't waste time, right? It can be quantity, but it's also quality as well. So figure out what works best for you, because, bro, we need dual threat catchers.
Yeah.
I can promise you that, bro. And not only that, with the contracts these dudes are getting nowadays, a dual threat catcher, oh my gosh, that's like Pat Mahomes, bro. What do he sound like, a $503 million deal? Crazy like that? That's $500 million that man made.
$500 million.
Wow. He gonna buy his own army or something with that much money. Gee, bro.
Yeah, buddy.
But I think, I think what Nick said, man, just enjoy it. And it's kind of been the theme of this episode is just enjoy the moment, but at the same time, understand that, in 4 years down the road from now, there's going to be another 15, 16, 17-year-old catcher sitting here talking to us, asking the same questions. And there's always somebody coming right behind you. Yeah. And I think that was a big lesson for us, like with the Giants organization. So our top prospect's a catcher, Joey Bart, and the first pick of the first round this year, we drafted a catcher. Mm-hmm. So it was like, okay, wake up call, but understand that it's a business, especially at the big league level, and there's always somebody coming behind you. So if you think you can show up to the ballpark and be like, I might take it a little bit easier today, guess what? That might be the day.
Mm-hmm. Well, you've also what do you think Aaron Rodgers is thinking? Right? Draft a quarterback in the first round. I mean, Aaron Rodgers could be in the Hall. You never know. But at the end of the day, everybody's looking to get better because, hey, JP, bro, the hardest thing to do in baseball is to judge talent. I can see your skills. I can see your velo. But at the end of the day, bro, I don't know what's in your heart. That's the biggest thing is to try and find something deep inside that you can come to the ballpark every day, and the process is there. The work ethic is there. That's the biggest thing that I learned from all those guys, Jeter and A-Rod and all those guys. Work ethic, how to work, how to be a pro, how to take my swing and get it better, because my work was different than Rod's swing or than Rod's work or Posada's work or, Brett Gardner or Curtis Granderson. It was all different. So that's the thing. Find out what works best for you as an individual and go from there.
For sure. Yeah. Dude, JP, thanks so much for coming on the show today.
Yeah, no, hey, JP, I'm jealous.
You got the flow coming out the back.
Jealous in your wings.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Yeah, hey, keep in touch, man. Keep posting some good videos.
And no doubt, we'll be watching.
Yeah, for sure, man. So keep in touch, man. Keep it easy, man.
All right. Yeah, thank you so much.
All right, JP,
thanks,
appreciate
it.
Easy, bro.
Thank you again.
Oh, bro. Hey,
Yeah,
you know
buddy.
when that kid called, when he called in, I was like, that kid's a catcher, bro.
Yeah.
Bro. He got the muscles, the neck. Look at Craig's neck, bro. It's like bulging out, you know what I'm saying? He's like head and shoulders, bro. Like where the neck is.
No, speaking of $500 million, 477 million of that is guaranteed. Can you believe that?
You want to know what's funny, man? One of my real good buddies is really close with the owner of the Chiefs. And this was last year. And he was like, man, are you nervous about, going through the negotiations with, Patrick? And, the owner was like, no, as a matter of fact, I'm not. I'm going to slide my checkbook across the table and I'm going to tell him to write down a number because I know that number that he writes down, he will have thought about everything that goes into that. Yeah. How many players he needs to be successful. It's not about Patrick Mahomes. That's what's dope about him. It's not about him. It's about winning championships. And for him, bro, to be able to have somebody like Pat Mahomes as the leader of your team is almost like having Aaron Judge or Garrett Cole as leaders of your team because those guys are the hardest workers. They look out for everybody else. They're the best teammates, and they're also some of the best players. So to be able to have 477, bro, hey, Mike Trout, who? Come on now. Crazy, man. Things are changing, bro. It's like, bro, we need to make a comeback, bro. We need to get some of this cheese, bro.
I know.
All right, well, we've got one more guest on today's episode of Kicking It with your boy Swish. Hope you guys that are watching live on Facebook and YouTube are enjoying the content, enjoying the conversation. It's been a blast. I mean, these questions today are really good questions, not just, a topical question, but actually diving in and it's provoking long conversations. I mean, we're, 40 minutes in and we've only had 2 callers. So I'm going to let in, our next caller is James Wadley. So I'm going to pull him in right here. But, Nick, man, this has been awesome. And I can really see, oh dude, he's got a headset on and everything.
Oh man, this guy's ready, bro. He's ready, dog. Let's go.
Oh man. All right, let's just start. Go ahead. James, what's up, bro? Introduce yourself, man.
Hey, I'm James, guys. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, sir.
All righty. How are y'all today?
Oh,
doing well.
Great, man. Thank you so much for calling in, bro. How you doing today? You good?
I'm doing good, man. Got to hit early today. Got my coffee.
Hey, man, this dude's legit, bro. He's ready.
Already, man. What the heck?
Hey, J-Dub, tell us a little bit about yourself, bro.
Yeah, man. I formerly junior college baseball player, headed off to play at University of Texas in Arlington. Living at home right now. Been playing baseball my whole life. Grew up a pastor's kid. Lived in 7 different states, 30-something different houses. Kind of been all over the United States playing baseball.
Yeah.
And that's been about my life, man. Playing baseball, going to school.
Well,
repeat.
I mean, number one, bro, I want to give you some love right now, bro. Yeah. For having the love and the passion for the game of baseball to play it wherever you're at. Because I think that's some of the hardest things to do, at least for myself. Now, I married my wife. She's an actress. We're always moving. We're always going somewhere to follow Joe wherever she's filming one of her shows. And the hardest thing that I've noticed is my daughters making new friends or fitting in. And for somebody like you that has been to, 7 different states and all over the place, to be able to do that, bro, the well-roundedness that you already have in your life because the experiences that you've gone through, homie, you're already ahead of the curve, bro.
Yeah,
so kudos, bro, for continuing to follow the game you love, regardless of where you're at. Because I think a lot of people in your position will get frustrated and be like, man, you know what, mom, dad, quit moving me around. Like I just made friends. Like I'm on an all-star team. You know what I mean? So I think bro, I just want to give you some love for that because I think that's the one thing that really stands out. It's just like, man, like going and chasing it, bro. Like going. Yeah. I think that's amazing, man. So love to you on that, bro, for sure.
Thank you, man.
Heck yeah.
Appreciate that.
So what's your first question today, James?
My first question. So it's oddly specific. My dad always growing up, the phrase he used with me was, it's never too late to have a good day. In 2014, you were playing the Angels and you were 0-4 on the day, headed into your last AB, and then you hit a walk-off granny going into the box. What was your mental preparation for that so that you could go into your 5th at bat having an 0-4 day with 3 Ks and be able to perform at that level and ultimately shut the mouths of Los Angeles?
I tell you what, that was an extra difficult day for myself because not only had I been struggling as well, bro, my knees were starting to fall out on me, bro. I just didn't have the pop that I used to. But also, too, I remember going up for that last at bat and I got booed at home. I got booed walking up to the plate in Cleveland. And I'll never forget it because that was one of the first times I think I've ever really been booed before at home. And it really caught me off guard because I was kind of like, wait a minute, bro. Like, I'm an Ohio State guy, right? Like, I was born in Columbus, right? Like, I'm from Ohio, right? I signed to come and play here, right? But at the end of the day, man, like, it's a business. And I wasn't producing. And I understand that. But I think the thing for me was in that specific at bat, I just knew it was either, you know what, bro? I felt so horrible about myself, just mentally, physically, bro, emotionally. I was just shocked. I'm looking around the stadium and people are pointing and booing at me. And it's kind of like, wow, man, like that's not the game I want to play. So, in that point right there, bro, not only that, dude, I was one strike away from going like 0 for 5, 4 punchies, bro, leaving like a community on the base paths that day. Bro, he tried to sneak a piece of cheese by the rat, bro, and I've been eating cheese for years, bro.
Yes, sir.
I caught up to that thing, and I'll never forget it, man. One of the coolest things that happened after that game was Albert Pujols. I saw him because I think the Angels were going somewhere else after the game was over. And I remember he just came over to me, man, and he put his arm around me. And he was like, hey, Swish, Poppy, it's going to get better. Keep working, keep grinding. And that just goes to show you what a community baseball really is. Even though you're competing against each other, to be able to have somebody like Albert Pujols, who in my mind could be one of the greatest right-handed hitters we've ever seen, for him to go out of his way to come over, and it gives me goosebumps thinking about it, bro, because, like, those are the great people in the game. For him to say, like, hey, Poppy, it's going to get better, man. Keep grinding. Like, it's a low moment right now, but like, hey, man, that was a heck of a home run, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, walk-off grand slam, that doesn't happen a whole lot. So I think for me that it went from such a miserable time to, like you're saying, it's never too late to have a bad day, right? It's like, prime example, man, I remember also, too, when I was my second year in the big leagues, and we were playing San Diego Padres, bro, and I was 0 for 5 with 5 punch-outs against the San Diego Padres. And guess who I come up against for my 6th at bat? Trevor Hoffman. Oh my gosh, bro. It was just like, this is it. This is it. I'm going to go 0 for 6 with 6 punch outs, bro. And I'm going to be like one of the only human beings ever to do something like that. Guess what I did, bro? Broken bat, roll over through the hole for a base hit. And it was like the greatest day ever. You know what I mean? So tell your dad, I'm going to use that line for sure. But also, remember, that just goes to show you how the game can change, how your life can change. Like, everything it's kind of like that roller coaster. And for a guy like me, I remember Billy Beane telling me my first year in the big leagues, it was going to be a crazy, dippy roller coaster. But then as you kind of continue to play, it'll even itself out. And I was obviously blessed enough to be around one of the coolest cats in the game, Derek Jeter, bro. He just lived like this. But, hey, but Jay, I can't live like that, bro. Like, I'm too hyper. I'm too exciting. You know, I'm too excited to do that. So I think for myself, to be able to be at such a low moment and then to experience such that high, I think that just goes to show you in life, like, how things can change in the drop of a hat. So always keep grinding, always keep working, because you never know what's going to happen next. And I think that's such a great point, man, for sure.
Absolutely. Thank you. Yeah, it's so funny. I'm so glad I got the opportunity to ask that, because my dad's been using it for years, like with me in the box.
Yeah.
It's
well,
awesome.
I'll give you something my dad always said. My dad always said, you're one swing away. And it plays to both sides, right? It plays to your dad saying, like, hey, son, it's been a horrible day so far, but guess what? The game's not over.
Yeah.
There's still a chance to do something great. And like my dad always said, hey, man, hey, son, you're one swing away. Because for me, I was such a feel hitter. And if I got in the box and I felt good, it was going to be a good day. Yeah. Because it was almost like a rhythm. It was like a dance, you know?
Yeah.
But when you didn't have that rhythm, oh, bro, here we go. We grinding today. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
So, yes, always remember that, man. You're one swing away, even on the good ones, or you're one good fastball away from getting that feel back, or you're one great defensive play away from getting yourself back in the grind. I think for myself, I wanted to make sure that you had that feeling, because the feeling is easy to go back on. It's not always like, you're not always going to feel great, but you can always feel, when you've had your best games, exactly what your mindset was, how your body felt, how the bat felt in your fingertips. You know what I'm saying? So, like, remember those things, because those are easy things to fall back on when times are tough. Because most of the time when times get bad, we go searching for results. And I think that's the worst way we can go about it. got to stick to the process, got to stick to continuing to do our work. Because, I mean, even Craig, right, as a hitting coach, it's like, just because a guy goes 0 for 4 doesn't mean he's doing the wrong work.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? He just might have had a bad day, or you ran into a buzzsaw. Sometimes somebody's just better than you.
Yeah.
So I think just, you know, bro, I love that question because I think that it pertains to life as well as baseball. And I think that you can learn a lot about yourself by going through those difficult times. It's funny, man. We were talking to Xavier Perez earlier today, and we were talking about, hey, man, we hope you never struggle ever. But at the end of the day, like deep down, I want to retract that because I actually hope he does struggle because I want him to learn something about himself. Because when you're cruising along, bro, kicking tail every day, bro, you're not learning anything. You're just riding the wave. But when you're down and things are tough and you got nowhere else to look but other than inside to yourself, you know what I mean? Those are those times that get you over the hump because at the end of the day, like we tell a lot of our guys, in front of that baseball card, your pretty little face, guess whose numbers are on the back?
Yeah.
Yours. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, man. What else? You got any other questions for us?
Yeah. This one's more a life integration with baseball. So as a professional baseball player and a husband and a father, how did you balance that, especially with your wife being an actress and, you know, those schedules aren't necessarily going to line up. And then you throw kids into the mix. Like, how did you navigate that?
You know what I did, Jay? I married my best friend. And I can honestly say, and Craig's in that mode right now. It's like, getting married only added to my life. There was never a negative. There was never something that pulled away from my life. My wife built me up every single day, just like I try to build her up. Because at the end of the day, life is so amazing to have somebody to go through it with. It's hard to do things on your own. We talk about this all the time. You're never going to get to where you're going by yourself. You're going to need help along the way. And it just so happened that the greatest human being in my life is my wife. And for her to put me on a pedestal each and every day, just like I put her on that pedestal. And then all of a sudden we have kids. Well, hey, man, sometimes you're going to have a bad game, or sometimes, you know, you're not going to get any sleep and we're going to be, you know, a little testy. But at the end of the day, man, both of our processes and both of the ways that we go about living our life are the same. So I'm so blessed to be able to have somebody in my life that literally added in every imaginable way, because I think that's what you want to do. You only want to be an addition to somebody's life. And for myself to be able to have somebody who is good at the things that I'm bad at, and to help me, to mold me, and not to be able to scare to tell me when things are wrong or when you're not acting the way that you should be. So I think for me, man, I guess the biggest thing that I can say is that I'm so blessed because I married my best friend for sure. And me and Joe, dog, we can get through anything. It don't matter, man. Whatever challenge is to get in front of us, oh, bro, we're hand in hand, dog, and we're going to get through that. And I think that's the mentality that both of us have because we're both very competitive. My wife is in a ridiculously competitive business, bro. You know how hard it is to get somebody to watch a television show nowadays? You know what I'm saying? It's like to get somebody's attention long enough to watch a full season. So for myself, to be able to add the athletic side and the competitive side on for the athletics, and to be able to have the competition in everybody wants to be an actor, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody wants to be, bro. I still want to be an actor, but I'm not gonna
some cameos.
You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. So it's like that's it, man. I mean, I can honestly say that just everything has been better since I met my wife. My career was better. My life is better. My overall view of the world is better because I have an amazing human being right by my side that loves me for me. She's not trying to change me. She's not trying to tell me how to live my life. She's trying to add to my life and let me be me because that's exactly what I want her to do. Listen, bro, she's the breadwinner in our family now, bro. I mean, she's my Betty White, dude. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, man.
Go get it until she's like 90. Keep grinding, mom. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
I would honestly say that none of those things in my life were hard to do. They were easier to do when I met my wife. That really helped me out.
Absolutely.
Sweet, man.
Yeah,
James,
that's awesome.
James, we got time for one more question from you, buddy. And let me just add right now that you sound like you do this on a daily basis.
Bro, we need to bring this dude on, bro. We need to bring this dude in.
Oh, man.
Man.
You know, I got my own podcast fired up, so we're learning.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. So what other question you got for Nick?
Yeah, so another super specific question. Obviously, this baseball season was crazy. It got canceled. Like going into the fall, the Lord blessed me extremely with success. Not at all to my testament. I was just playing out of my mind. It was literally like something supernatural happened, and had legitimate talks of the draft coming up. And then as everything got canceled, there was the first to 10th round talks. And I was told I was just out of that bubble. Like I wasn't going to be in that bubble. And then obviously got shortened to 5 and only the studs got their names called. So moving into the Division I world now, you know, the pond got a whole lot bigger. And I'm still a 6 foot, 180-pound speed guy, trying to make a way in it. So what advice would you have to say for someone like me? I'm not going to have the big old forearms and the power that it's going to wow people and stop them in their tracks. As far as the consistency in my approach and kind of what approach I should have in general as someone who's not necessarily going to wow with an eye test.
You know who's 6 foot, 180 pounds? Brett Gardner. And he's played for 400 years. You see what I'm saying?
You got that right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's exactly what, well, maybe 6 foot in the program. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I am. I'm 6 foot in shoes, man.
Hey, I'm 5'11", 195 pounds. Like, I mean, like, that's the greatest part about baseball is it's not a size thing. It's what's on the inside. It's the work ethic that you can put in to get you to where you want to go, right? You can mold yourself into a great player. You can play games with yourself to create challenges within anything. And so I think for myself, that would be the first guy because I love me some Brett Gardner, no doubt, bro. One of my great friends. And to see the success that he's had, not only in baseball, but for the New York Yankees, bro. This dude's played for like 15 years for one team. One team this dude's played for. And I'm telling you, man, there's a reason for that. Because not only that 6 foot, 180-pound frame brings it every single day, on and off the field. He's a leader in the locker room. The guys love him. And that's what you need to be, man. You need to be somebody that people want to be around. Because like we talk about all the time, you got to find something that you have that nobody else does. Guess what Brett Gardner does every day? He puts his work gloves on and he comes to work each and every day. That's the thing that I appreciate most about him. That he shows up every day, whether his shoulder feels like it's out of socket or his wrist is all banged up or his ankles are all beat, whatever it is. Number 11, Brett Gardner is going to be in the lineup every day if he can. And that's the thing that I appreciate most about him because by the way, Brett Gardner, like if you would have seen him coming out of the draft, you'd be like, who? This guy? This guy's going to play 15 years for the New York Yankees, win a World Series, All-Star game? No way. Not that guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yes, that's exactly what he's doing. And guess what he does after that? He goes home with his wife and 2 sons. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And he goes home and he hunts and he fishes and he gets himself prepared for the next season because he knows what his body can do. I think that's the thing that I would challenge you. Figure out the things that you can do and work on those, right? Not everybody's going to be able to hit for power. I got a little nephew. He's 12 years old, bro. All of a sudden he's going to the big field now. So now all those little pop-ups he was hitting for homers are outs. And so now I'm like, I'm really excited for him because he's going to learn how to hit. So that's what I'm saying. J-Dub, if you're a speed guy, get on base, work on your bunting, right? Like do everything you can. Work on your hitting and running ability. Work to put the bat on the ball. Work to do the things that you can do. Because at the end of the day, bro, you should know this. You can only control things that you can control. And at the end of the day, bro, that's good enough. Because for you, when you wake up every morning, bro, you're ready. You know what it takes to get there. Bro, you've bounced around across this entire nation playing baseball. Like, you can't tell me that you don't know what it takes to be successful. And also, too, bro, you're not the first guy that hasn't gotten drafted when he thought he would. What are you going to do from here? How hard are you going to work to make your dreams come true? Because at the end of the day, bro, your testimony, the way you go about your life can help so many people, right? Bro, you're helping me out already, bro. Just from listening to you and just your overall story. Like I've learned so much just from being on this call for 15 minutes, right? Like guys like you are the people that we root for. Because you want it. Like, and you have the work ethic. And by the way, bro, you don't have to be 6'5", 240. You don't have to be that guy. You know what I'm saying? You need to be you. Find out the things that you are good at. Find out the things that you can bring with you to the ballpark every day. Because like Brett Gardner, sometimes you just got to put them work gloves on and show up.
That's it. I want to add one thing to what Nick was saying, because I was a speed guy too. 5'11", 185 pounds. Consistency, right? Don't try to be the power hitter, and don't get upset because you're not the power hitter. But don't try to do too much as a speed guy, because then you might put yourself into situations where you're causing outs, which is not helping your team, right? If you're being too aggressive because you feel like, okay, I'm the speed guy, I have to do this, and you cause extra outs, you're not helping your team win. Like what Nick said about Brett, not just what he was doing in the game of baseball, but what he was doing for the Yankees as a team, right? So if you can, prepare a little bit more for the upcoming series and say, okay, I know the right fielder or the left fielder doesn't have a strong arm, and if I get one down there, maybe I might be able to turn that single into a double if I hit it down the line. Or the right fielder, he doesn't have much range, so if I can scoot it by him, maybe that's a triple. Doing things like that. You may not be the power guy.
Second to home, all that.
Yeah, man. You may not be that power guy, but if you can, drop down a bunt when the third baseman's not paying attention, or if you can, mess up the pitcher's timing because you can work a full count that day in each of your at bats, you're helping the guys behind you, getting on base, doing things, backing up those plays, at third base or wherever it may be, and being there and saving that extra base on defense or making that accurate throw. Like Nick was saying, hone in on the skills that you're good at. So work on your arm strength. Make sure that your jumps when you're stealing are perfect. Don't just get by. I'm a speed guy. Okay, cool. I'm a speed guy. No. Get better. Get faster as a speed guy. Doesn't mean you have to be dumb as a speed guy, but improve on those skills that you have. And then don't give up on power. Get in the weight room. You might run into a ball and hit a home run that nobody's expecting, because that's what happened to me when I got to my sophomore year of college. And Craig can attest to this. I batted ninth. I would get 0-2 fastballs down the middle. I'd turn them around for doubles and home runs. They were not expecting that. When I played them again, they pitched me differently. But going into that series, it's a 3-game series. They think I'm the scrawny 9-hole hitter. So they're going to give me those meatball fastballs. Be ready to play, be ready to capitalize on what you've got as a skill set, as a player, and be consistent. The one thing that Brett Gardner has been over those 15 years is consistent. He's not hitting 50 home runs, but he's not batting 120. If he's batting 220 or 250, he's, like Nick said, in the clubhouse, bringing everybody up. He's in the dugout, breaking ceilings with his bat and stuff like that, getting people hyped up. He's doing what it takes inside of his skill set to help the team win.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Bro, that was awesome, Joel. That was so good, man. It's
Thanks,
so
buddy.
perfect, right? Because at the end of the day, bro, be the best base runner you can be.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Just because you're fast doesn't mean you can run the bases.
Right.
So hone in on that skill set. I'm telling you, bro. You know what I'm saying? Going first to third, turning singles into doubles. Those are the things people notice, bro. When you slide in there to second base, bang, bang, play, that umpire says safe, all of a sudden you're in scoring position. You know what I'm saying?
Your team's pumped up.
Hey, bro, if that happened to me, man, I'm buying you a steak dinner, bro.
Right.
Yeah,
because
buddy.
all of a sudden I'm hit with a man on second base. That sounds good to me, bro, all day.
Got you tonight,
And just
buddy.
figure out how, even at the plate, figure out, okay, I'm a speed guy, so I got to figure out how to get on base. For the Giants, we signed a non-drafted free agent guy out of NC Central. I think his name was
exactly.
Carter Williams, right? Carter Williams. The reason why we signed him was because throughout his collegiate career, he walked more than he struck out.
Boom.
So you never know what teams value, right? So don't get this illusion that scouts only look for the dudes that hit bombs, right? Because organizations have to build teams, right? So we do need to go look for those dudes that launch balls 500 feet, and that's cool. But don't fool yourself that they're not looking for dudes that can get on base. So those dudes that do hit the ball 500 feet got ducks on the pond to drive in.
I could be mistaken, but I remember Brett Gardner last year in the playoffs hitting third.
Yeah.
Not because they thought he was going to hit homers, but because in the playoffs, you need to put the ball in play.
Yeah.
And Gardy was the guy that could put the ball in play.
Yeah.
He's not a feast or famine guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to battle. He's going to see pitches. He's going to do whatever it needs to take. He'll lay one down if he needs to. Remember Brett Butler style. You remember that?
Yeah.
So I think just in general, man, there are so many things you can do within that speed set. And also, too, remember this, Jay, speed never goes away. Speed never takes a day off.
Speed doesn't slump, baby.
Speed never slumps, bro. Believe me, bro, I would love to have that little speed, for sure. I could leg out those infield singles.
That's it, baby. Feels good.
Right? Because that speed, bro, everybody needs a fourth outfielder.
Mm-hmm.
If you got speed, you'll be the guy.
That happened to me. Personal testimony right there. I made a team because I had speed. I didn't start, but I was the fourth outfielder because I had the speed. I could put the ball in play.
Oh, yeah.
I went down with an injury.
Joel was the dude that would come in and play defense for me in the 8th and 9th. You know what I mean?
I'm there, though. I'm there. I'm
out of there, bro. Get him out of there.
It's a role, man. You got to learn. You got to learn to be a role player. Whether you're, like Craig was saying, somebody that hits the ball 500 feet. Yeah, they strike out a lot. Okay, but chances are they're going to run into a home run every 10, 12, 15 at bats, right? But be consistent at what you can do. Be consistent at the things that you're good at.
Absolutely.
I love it, man. I love it, Jay. Hey, bro, you're one of the best callers we've ever had on this show.
Heck yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Man.
Yeah, buddy.
For real, bro. Hey, continue to keep living your life. Continue to be a ray of sunshine, brother. For real, man. And continue to keep grinding. Because I'm telling you, bro, it's out there. Go get it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you guys for this,
You
man.
got
This
it,
is
my
such
All
a
right, brother.
blessing.
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Thanks,
man.
James.
Jay, we'll talk to you soon, bro.
Talk to you guys
See you, buddy.
Thanks.
See ya.
Wow, what a show, man. What a show. Three good callers.
Man, bro,
Wow.
we just blasted off right there.
Whew. That was
Hey,
awesome.
I almost got our Prospect Dugout gear on right there. You know what I'm saying? Let's go.
No, Craig's slumping. Craig's hovering down. He's got,
Oh, no.
no. He had a coach's call before, so he had to throw that on.
No. He's actually employed, bro. He's okay. He's all right.
He missed the wardrobe change. He didn't get that in time.
That's it, man.
Hey, by the way, I'm definitely gonna clip that call and send that directly to Joanna for you, just so she has that.
Hey, man. Hey, I'm crossing my fingers, man. Hopefully we hear about season 2 here real soon, man.
Heck yeah, buddy.
Nice.
Figure out when we're gonna
That's
go.
gonna be fun. That's gonna be fun,
That was
man.
awesome. But hey, I'm not gonna lie, man. I miss seeing you guys, bro. I see you guys like 3 days in a row, bro. You know what I mean? We was out on the boat, bro, man.
Yeah, buddy. That was good, man. No, that was good.
You gotta do a
Swish
lot more of
baseball-
that.
Yeah, the Swish baseball experience, man. That was good last week. You've been doing your scuba diving certification. That's why we couldn't do it yesterday.
That
So
was
we
my
did it
fault,
today.
y'all. My fault, man. I had
It's all good.
Yeah, open water diving, y'all, for real, man.
Yeah,
3
buddy.
dives today at 50 feet, 30 minutes. Woo!
And you still got plenty of oxygen left in that tank, buddy, to get on here on this show for an hour and get after it.
This oxygen never stops.
That's it. Well, dude, for Craig Maddox and Nick Swisher, I'm Joel Hartman, man. This episode, Kicking It With Your Boy Swish, has been amazing. We're 10 episodes in, 10 weeks in. This is awesome. Can't wait for next week. Can't wait for everything that's in store. Pro tryouts, Swish baseball experience. The app's moving along really well. Got a lot of stuff coming with driveway drills. Swing Dr. Swish is about to start up. There's so many things going on, so many resources that we're putting out there. Like Nick said earlier, there's a cloud of information. Everybody thinks they know everything, and everybody thinks that their way is the right way. That's fine. It's your job as a person, as a baseball player, as a parent, as whoever you are, to pick and choose that information. The more you shut off, the less well-rounded you could be. Just because someone tells you something doesn't mean you got to implement it, but it gives you a different perspective. It gives you the opportunity to see things from a different angle. So being on this show, talking with these 3 guys today, man, just bringing a unique perspective from each of these guys. And that's the point of this show, is not just to come on here and ramble about topics and give our point of view, but to hear what these guys are struggling with, hear what these guys are going through in real time in California, in Texas, Corpus Christi, wherever they may be. We want to know what's going on with them and see how we can have an impact on their life. So as we wrap up this episode, Nick, if you got any final words, Craig, if you got any final words, no? All right.
I don't really doubt it, man. That was one of the best shows we've ever had.
That's
man.
great. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, buddy.
Because at the end of the day, Prospect Dugout, man, we want to help. And we want to be part of it. We want to be part of your life. We want to try and help you in any way possible. And the one cool thing that I always that baseball is there's not one way to do it. There's a whole different way. There's a whole different ways you can do it. So find out what works best for you and go with it from there.
That's it. All right. Until next time on Kicking It With Your Boy Swish, we'll see you guys.